Hello and welcome to Adam Pins' Garage and Fabrication. Today we're working on the Subaru xt6 and we're going to pull this alternator off, and I'm going to replace the brushes, which is, so on this one it's a voltage regulator is what you look for to purchase, and it comes with the brushes attached to it. So we're going to remove the alternator and then tear it down and replace that. This alternator is working currently, but when I put a lot of load on it, it's having troubles and my voltage starts dropping, so I suspect that the brushes are worn out. We'll see for sure when I get in there, but that's what we're going to tackle today. Let's start with getting our plastic. It just kind of clips on, but this one's clips on pretty tight. If yours still has this, hold on while I get a pick. Just gotta release these tabs here. There it goes. Get our plastic cover off. We'll set that aside. Should disconnect the battery. I'm gonna hate myself for doing this because I have to reset the stereo again. Get all my settings right and how I want them, and then gotta disconnect the battery again. There we go. And then we can get on our terminal here. This is probably a 12 millimeter. I don't recommend using pliers. I use my nip picks because they grab a hold of it really well. But yeah, that's a 12 millimeter right there. Unless you've got an aftermarket alternator, in which case it may have been changed to a 13. I see that a lot. We got two wires right there. We'll stick our nut and our washer back on here so we don't lose it. There's a connector here. Mine is in really bad shape, but it does have a locking tab, which currently does not work on this one because it's in such bad shape. But you just kind of push in right there and that should unlock. So what's in the alternator like that, it's on the top side. You push in on it, pull it out. That might fight you a little bit. You might need a pick to get it to release. I'm not sure. Like I said, mine is completely destroyed. So, yeah, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. And then, so all of our electrical is disconnected now. We got a 14. You're going to get on your idler pulley. We're going to take our belt off, loosen up our idler pulley. Then our tensioner bolt is right over here. We loosen that. This means I got to retension my belt too. There's always that fear of over tensioning these and destroying your alternator bearings, so it usually takes a few tries before I finally get the belt tensioned to where I want it. You hear the belt squeak at all, and you probably need to tension it a little bit more. So usually after a few tries I finally get it to where I want it. Okay, let's see, that looks like a 12. Let's see, yes it is. This one's been replaced, so there's a chance that's probably a 13. Yeah. Ooh, it's been a while since that's been out of there. Okay, yep, 13. I'm guessing that would probably be another 12 millimeter if it was the original bolt. Alright, get that one out. Set that over with a cover so we don't lose it. Now, the big bolt right here has a nut on the back. Has a little bracket off the side of it so that it doesn't spin, but you want to hold on to it while you loosen it so you don't drop it underneath. Okay, so we got that off. And this bolt is giving me troubles inside the hole. It's probably corroded because it should come out now, but it is not. I may or may not have some corrosion issues on the entire car, if you haven't noticed. We will fix that in the future. Okay, she's coming out now. There we go. Now, there's the fun part. Get this out of here without breaking the case. I like my mini pry bar for this, or my next size up pry bar. And I'm going to start prying right here, see if it moves. It doesn't want to move from there, so gently. You see, like these guys over here, be very careful on those. So I'm gently prying on there, and it does want to move, so I'm going to continue very gently. And now we've got to an angle where I can get to that. And now, should be able to just give it a wiggle off of the other bracket. Should be being the key word here. It's moving, but it is not cooperating. If I keep wiggling it, it should come out though. Yep, there it goes. Ta-da! And our alternator's out. Now we get to tear it down. Okay, we're set up with a makeshift bench here. I've got a workbench that I need to actually finish and build. This will do for now. So it looks like we have 8mm bolts here. We also have the Phillips head. I don't know if that's loose there because my socket is worn out, which is a possibility. So it could be 7mm and maybe I just picked the wrong socket, but I think it's 8 and my socket's just worn out. I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that I don't need to remove the pulley. The bearings feel good. I'm not getting any noise from this alternator. Everything is spinning nice and smooth, so shouldn't need to remove the pulley. We just need to get off the back side of this alternator to get to the voltage regulator. And this is a Mitsubishi branded alternator. Looks like a new regulator is Mitsubishi branded. Now I did get this from Rock Auto, and the plastic shield came pre-broken in. Broken being the key part. So I'm hoping that the one on there is reusable, or that this should still work anyways. It's not a critical component. So we'll see once we get in there. I'm sure the part was probably fine when they shipped it from Rock Auto, but they put it inside one of those bubble packages, and shipping things has been questionable lately. The shippers have been a little bit rougher with packages than they should be. Partially probably because they're short-handed due to COVID and whatnot. But I don't want to get into that. We're just going to do this here alternator. So there are 4 bolts. And this case should split in half. I might have to get out the hammer. Usually that's the case because they fit pretty snug together, and you do need to be careful not to damage it as splitting it apart. Yeah, I'm going to need the hammer. Okay, now I need to separate the back case from our coil windings. So I'm going to get on like right here. Start gently, maybe get a little bit more rough with it. Moved a little bit, and then maybe move it around. Yep, it's starting to come apart. Work your way around it. It's coming apart. Look at that. Let's see if it'll wiggle loose yet. No, we're not there yet. Let me give it a few more whacks. And then get more gentle as it starts coming apart easier. You don't want to knock it off and shoot components across the shop, especially if you've never done this before. It's best to save anything that you can. I suspect our brushes are stuck a little bit. Might be our current situation. Double check that it doesn't look like there's anything else holding it. Okay, I'm probably going to cut that section of the video out, but I forgot. The coils, your field coil, is going to be attached to all the other electronics on the back side of this alternator, so you need to take the front face part off, not the back. So we'll do this again. Give her some light taps. Don't go too crazy. A little bit more and more until you see it's starting to move. But be gentle. And work your way around. Okay, now case half is coming off. There we go. Just twisted and separated there. Oop, boom, there we go. Now she came apart. Look at that. Okay. Let's see what we got. Now, one thing you may want to do is sometimes these contact patches get pretty nasty. They look a little dark. They should be shinier. So I'll take a gentle wire brush, probably like a brass brush, and you can actually see, I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but that spot you can see more of a coppery color, and then it goes blackish, and there's just that one spot that's nice and coppery. The blackish it's actually burning. The electricity is actually burning as it jumps across, burning the surface of that. Or you get some oxidation too, stuff like that. Let's see. Brushes. Compared to the new one, our brushes are very worn out. They are probably at the end of their life. So it looks like that's probably the case with this alternator. What's going on with it? We got a couple of Phillips screws down inside here. I'm trying to get the lighting right. It's kind of difficult. Hopefully you guys can see that. So we get a Phillips screwdriver. Carefully break these loose. If it doesn't feel like the screw is coming out, and it feels like the screw is trying to strip, I do recommend get yourself an impact driver and carefully place it on a bench or something, just so you're not going to damage anything. And you hit your impact driver and you'll knock that loose, and then that way you don't strip it out. So if it feels like it's going to strip out the head, then just stop there. These ones came out pretty decent, and this car is from a corrosion prone area, so that is good news. I did bring home my impact driver just in case. And it looks like trying to wiggle that out, but I think we've got some terminals here. We have a terminal. Oh, okay, that's fun. So this terminal here has to be soldered. It's soldered to your rectifier bridge. So if you're not up for soldering things, this is probably not a job for you. Yeah. Now, I think to get our rectifier bridge loose, looks like we have a Phillips screw, and then also underneath this plastic cover should be a bolt of some sort. Oop, look at that. Our cover is off, and that one is reusable. Look at that. Let's see if I can get this cover off. Should just kind of snap on here. Yep, just snaps over top, and that looks like a 10mm. gonna give this a wiggle. It's got some splines right there. So you give it a little wiggle and that'll pop right off. No biggie. So that stud is free. Now we need to get in and get that Phillips screw, which actually looks kind of a bit of a pain. I think it's probably a good thing that I separated this other side already. Let's re-separate it. Very gently. There we go. And we're gonna be pulling on these wires right here. So gently pull out. Get it cocked like that. It looks like we can get the screwdriver in there. And there it goes. Look at that. And then everything should lift out of here now. I'm not saying it's going to go easy. Our voltage regulator is caught on the edge. So we'll give that a little bit of an angle here. There it goes. And there you go. Now that everything is out of there, hopefully you can see in the camera that solder joint right there is what we're after. I'm gonna have to get out a soldering iron and warm it up, and we'll break that solder and we'll stick it in there and we'll set it all in place. Then we'll resolder it so that it doesn't cock things funny. Alright, I'm going to get the soldering iron ready. Okay, I got out the soldering iron and broke the solder on the old one. It just kind of slid out. Most of the solder stayed there, so I reused it and just kind of heated it up and slid the new one in the right position. And it was pretty easy to just do it with it disassembled. Just kind of set it where it should be, and then everything kind of fell into place when I reassembled. But you see, if the light will allow it, there we go. I just resoldered that. That should work fine. I did use a little bit of flux, which is a good idea. Put a little bit of, I used paste flux on there just to clean up the connection. That's usually a good idea. It helps everything stick better. And then I got my Phillips in there and the two Phillips there. Made sure my shield was in place. I reused the old one because the new one was broken, obviously. Actually, I came with new bolts and I forgot. I could have used the new bolts. Actually, I might do that. Whatever. It's assembled. The old ones are in fine shape. We'll leave those alone. And then you can see my brushes are pushed inward. There's a hole through the brushes and a hole straight through. I just put a paper clip through there. Before you do that, there is a little rubber plug. I just pushed it out with a pick. You could use a punch or maybe a small bolt and just poke it out. Probably a good idea to put it back in afterwards. It probably helps keep water and stuff out of that area. Yeah, I would probably put that back in there. You keep dirt and stuff out too, which is a good idea. Keep that from seizing up. You don't want those brushes to seize in place. So that's all back together, and I got the paper clip in place. The alternator should go right back together. That was pretty easy. Make sure you clock it correctly. So you'll see this side is threaded. That was our lone side. This side has a hole through it. It's pass through, no threads. That's going to line up with our other side right there. And we just gently slide her back together. Try to line it up right. We got our 4 bolts. Sorry, battery died. Make sure all your bolts are tight. You don't want one of those screws loosening up while this alternator is spinning. That would be a bad day. And now we're going to tighten our case bolts. Work side to side, a little bit at a time. Don't force it together. You want it to just gently pull itself back together. Actually did that a little bit uneven, which is okay because it's going together nice enough. And then, see, I'm not using the full length of my ratchet. You want it good and snug, but obviously don't over tighten it and break your bolts. If you're having troubles with it going back together, then maybe you need to clean up the surfaces a little bit. And actually, while you're doing this rebuild is a perfect time to clean your alternator, make it look pretty again. You could pull the nut right off and disassemble the rest of your case pretty easy. You could replace the bearings. But like I said, this one didn't need bearings. And normally I would clean it up, but I don't really have time for that at the moment, so we're going to put her back together like this. Now it's all back together, aside from that guy. But we can pull our paper clip out. The brushes are making contact. I already cleaned the armature. This one has a really nice armature. I've never seen one with whatever that is made of. I don't know if it's some sort of a nickel alloy or what exactly it is, but it is a really nice armature. And then this was clocked a certain way. I think it was clocked like that. And if I get it wrong, we can always re-clock it, but that looks about right. Yeah, same thing with that guy. You know, I didn't use the full length of the ratchet, but I got it real tight, choking up on it. Maybe give it a light snug. Oop. Careful. Yep. That should be good there. Pop our cap back on. Ta-da! Oh, and don't forget to put this guy back in. I might throw a little bit of some type of lubricant on there just so it slides in easy. Or brake clean. Softens rubber. Makes it slippery. Yeah, brake clean works good. Do that. And then you're not deteriorating it with a petroleum-based product. And just put the alternator back in. Same, reverse operation of how we took it out. It's pretty easy. That's actually probably the easiest alternator I've ever rebuilt. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Keep on wrenching, guys.